Welcome to Skip versus Ernestine. This is round 5. Uh-oh. We do have rare love for each other. I mean, we don't even like to go out with another couple because we'd rather just be with each other. Is that not true?
That's true, but we do eventually see people. It's not like we live a hermit life.
Well, but we do always argue. We argue about sports and about movies and about music and about relationships a lot.
We do.
We just argue about life, and our referee, as always, is our daughter Hazel. Our 8-year-old Maltese, who's not in a good mood today. She's pretty worked up. She's
very jacked up on Mountain Dew.
On Mountain Dew, not really. We don't feed her Mountain Dew.
We don't.
That's only Diet Dew for me.
It's only Skip's.
So here we go again. We're about to pull back our curtains for all the world to see. I'm dreading these topics today because we're going to have to unleash. So let's start with what happened this past Saturday night. We were, in this case, scheduled to have dinner with 2 very close friends who were in from New York.
Living people. They were real people.
Real people. And this was at Mastro's in Beverly Hills. Great place. It's about 10, 15 minutes from where we live out here in West LA. And
that means there's always traffic.
And as usual, I had timed it down to the second. Yeah. So the minute we were supposed to leave, the exact minute we were supposed to bolt, Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos threw a 4th and 1 prayer, and Marvin Mims of the Broncos snatched it out of the sky. He also went to the University of Oklahoma and played there. He snatched it out of the sky in the end zone, and Broncos and Bengals was going, oh no, overtime, dreaded overtime, and I am screwed.
This is while I'm driving. Living with him is like...
Wait a second.
Yeah,
okay,
the great Santini.
Okay, you're jumping ahead as usual. You're telling the story before it needs to be told. But the point was, you were like, do you want me to drive or should I drive? And I said, you drive, but I didn't explain I need to watch the game on my phone.
Well,
because
I knew there was a reason why he said I should
overtime.
drive, because we always have the little tiff about I can drive. No, I'll drive. I can drive. And so he said I could drive.
She does have a car that is her pet car, which is a 1988 Mercedes, right?
Yeah, 560 SL. Mercedes. It's a really
collector's
cool
item
car,
right?
Yeah, I love that car.
Okay, so
but
a lot
we
of
did
times,
not take that car.
but a lot of times you say, "Let me drive," and we'll go in the little car.
Yeah,
but we went in the bigger car.
If you live in LA, if people don't know about this, you cannot park anywhere. It is the world of non-parking, so you have to have a miniature car to park anywhere because there is no parking in LA.
But Mastro's has valet.
Well, they have valet parking,
so it doesn't really matter. So you do have another car.
I have another car, but I drove the other car.
Okay. It's a Bentley.
Right.
It's a big blue Bentley. It's a great car.
Yeah.
But it's pretty big.
It's a big car.
Okay.
But whatever.
So here we go. And we're at each other's throats because I have an extremely hard time riding in the passenger seat with her driving. Because
he acts as though I'm going to crash every 2 minutes. Now, I've been driving for a really long time, and I've never, knock wood, ever had an accident. I've never had any type of anything. But the minute I drive and there's a red light, he starts bracing himself as though I'm crashing into the car in front of me. And it's really annoying. I say to him, don't worry, it's okay.
I rarely
I have to calm him down.
Passenger with anybody. I like to be in control.
Well, the difference when you're driving, we're going 150 miles an hour, and I'm bracing myself because this is like a wild white knuckle ride. I don't do that. I just am very careful. But he's bracing himself as though we're going to crash.
At certain times, you drive like a little old lady, and at other times, you drive like we're Formula One racing through the streets of LA. I drive
according to what's on the traffic lane. I mean, if they're going slow, I go slow.
I'm trying to watch on my phone the overtime of Broncos at Bengals, because I love Joe Burrow, and all of a sudden I'm watching, and the Bengals have a field goal to win the game, and the kid
I don't
chokes
know
it.
that because
I know, and I'm like
driving.
out of my mind. I said, "Oh no, he missed the field goal."
I just hear him muttering things, and I don't know. I'm just trying to pay attention to the road.
I'm trying to watch what's happening up ahead. And the first thing
you don't have to watch. What are you? You're not driving.
But the first thing that happens, we get on what's called Little Santa Monica by the Peninsula Hotel.
Yeah.
And we get behind this SUV in the right lane, and there's nobody
yeah.
in the left lane.
Right.
There's nobody anywhere. And the SUV, and I look up ahead, he's talking on his phone, and he's going like 4 miles an hour in the right lane. Right. And we get right behind him, and we're starting to get later and later because we're not going to make it on time to Mastro's. And you're just puttering along
because
behind
I'm staying in the right lane because we have to stay in the right lane to eventually make a right turn. So
I know,
I'm not going to cut around him.
That's like a mile and a half up the road. And I'm like, just go around. And you're getting mad at me for backseat driving. I'm actually side seat driving. I told him,
why don't you just do what you're doing and I'm driving. It's going to be okay.
Okay, but it's just silly because you have these driving quirks, like out here in LA, there are a whole lot of left turns with double left turn lanes. Am I right?
Out here in LA, nobody pays attention to rules. They in the middle of the street, you're driving, they just decide to make a U-turn. So they just turn around in the middle of the street while you're driving.
But I think they're all good drivers.
They're terrible drivers.
The worst drivers in the world are in New York City because they're psycho cab drivers.
The best drivers are in New York City.
I mean, you can get run over by a cab driver at any moment. Really?
Okay, I can drive in the middle of rush hour in Times Square.
This is your anti-LA bias here.
No, the people here don't know how to drive. Okay, get in an Uber car. Even the Uber car driver tells you.
I'm horrified every time we get in a double left lane because if we're in the inside left turn lane, you just wander into the right lane because you got to stay in your lane or you're going to ram people who are.
But then we're driving and I see the guy, he's double parked and I'm going to wait to go around him because there are cars coming on my left and you go, you're going to have to go around him. Oh, really? I'm in a driver's test or something.
But you wander out into the right lane of the left turn lane where
every woman out there knows they go through this with their husband or their boyfriend or whoever they're with because this is a common thing. It's like, I don't get it, but you just think that you're the only person who knows how to drive in the world.
Okay, so we go from
it's not the way
we're puttering behind this SUV with the guy talking on his phone to we cross Wilshire Boulevard, which is a major intersection, and we're still on Little Santa Monica. But all of a sudden, they allow people suddenly to park up against the right curb.
They're double parking and they're valeting.
They're not double. They're parked.
Yeah, but there are people valeting. They're getting out because somebody's getting out into a restaurant.
I know, but they're just parked cars. And I know when I'm by myself, I always have to left turn.
Accelerate to 150 miles an hour and just go around them.
No, you have to get in the left lane because it's too tight for two cars to pass the parked cars. It really goes down to a single lane because the right lane up against the parked cars is only like half a car wide.
Yeah, but you just have to wait.
And she just barrels down the right-hand lane, and there's not enough lane there, and I'm out of my mind. I'm holding on for dear life because we're going to...
You should have just worried about your game. You had more issues in your game than
but we're going to sideswipe the cars on the right.
We're not sideswiping the cars. I look in my rearview mirror to see I can pull over to the left, cut around the guy, and get back onto the right. That's what I did. But you should just concern yourself with who's playing, who's kicking, who's
I'm
scoring.
I'm holding on for dear life. I hold on to the bar up there on the side, and I'm just...
Go drive with Hazel. Drive with Hazel. Right, Hazel?
You're a good driver.
Hazel said, I'm not driving with him. Okay. He's a psycho.
No, I'm not a psycho. I do drive fast, but I drive well. I'm knocking on wood. I haven't had
whatever. We made it to the restaurant in 6 minutes.
Okay, we did.
We got there at 5:01.
She actually did a good drive, but...
Oh, thank you.
But the point is that sometimes you shock me because you go from little old lady driver to... this is a 60s reference, but little old lady from Pasadena, because the Beach Boys did a song about the little old lady from Pasadena who's like a race car driver.
I never drive a little old lady unless I have to if the traffic's going slow, but whatever. This is a common debate between men and women since the beginning of time.
I don't know that it is like this.
The cavemen probably, they were rolling rocks, and then the husband was yelling at the wife probably for rolling the rock the wrong way or rolling the rock too slow or something. Seriously, it's back since cavemen days.
Okay, so my New Year's resolution,
Gladiator days.
We're going to get to the resolutions in just a little bit
here. Because it
here.
is almost New Year's.
Is that
don't drive with me
in 2025
anymore.
I'm driving. That's my resolution.
You can.
I'm
Go
driving
drive your car.
every single time. No, you're going to ride with me.
No, not in this lifetime.
And the problem is if we take my car It's a ZR1 Corvette.
He drives like a maniac.
I don't drive like a maniac, but she doesn't like to ride in my car because it's not that comfortable. And I appreciate that because it's a rocket ship.
It's not that comfortable. We pull off like the highway to go onto a service road and you just accelerate like 150 miles an hour. And you say, oh, it's the only time I can accelerate is when I'm pulling off the highway or when I'm pulling onto the highway.
You're doing Bristol, Connecticut. I used
to do that in Bristol all the time.
Okay, well, I didn't get to drive that much on I-84 because you could go.
Right. So we'd get off, we'd go onto the ramp to the highway.
We'd only be on I-84 for like a mile.
110 miles an hour to the light.
And I'd say to you,
he gets 2 minutes to drive.
How fast do you think we were just going? And
110.
No, you'd say 82.
And he'd say, no, it really was 110.
I'd say we were actually going 110. Okay, but I would just sort of get my kicks, on Route 66, as they say, and it was I-84. But you're only on it, and it's just level flat
2 minutes
for 2 minutes, and then you exit at Queen Street to go to the restaurants we used to go to.
Right.
I miss those restaurants.
They were good.
Bristol, that sushi place, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a fun. It was a good. Yeah, they're great sushi.
We even liked Subway there.
The Subway was really good. They had a lot of different toppings for your sandwich, more than they have in LA.
I know. Yeah.
Here it's just avocado.
We didn't have Hazel though in those days.
Long ago.
So, you okay?
She's good.
Thank you.
She's good.
Okay. All right. Next subject up is. I got to be honest about this. Travis and Jason Kelsey have taken some shots at me on their podcast. You weren't aware of that until I mentioned it the other night.
Yes.
So I guess I'm about to return the favor. But in all my many, many years in sports media, I have never seen anything quite like what's happened to Jason Kelsey of late on ESPN. Not Travis, but Jason. Jason Kelsey just went straight from playing arguably the most anonymous position in all of football, center, to media superstardom like overnight. I mean, he's already challenging my man Stephen A. Smith as the face of ESPN. Not Travis Kelsey, Jason Kelsey, the former center for the Philadelphia Eagles. So from 0 Super Bowl rings for Jason Kelsey to his own late night talk show overnight on ESPN in his first year of retirement? What? Well, I'm sorry, but I have to chalk this up to the Taylor Swift effect. We've discussed it before on the show, but not in relation to Jason.
It is what Andy Warhol has said. Everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame.
This feels like this is going to be 15 years of fame, though.
I don't know. Could be, but maybe not.
If Jason Kelsey's brother weren't in a highly publicized relationship, it's okay. You're okay.
She's upset
in a highly publicized relationship with Taylor Swift. Would Jason Kelsey now be doing anything more than, I don't know, local radio in Philadelphia? I don't think so.
Well, it's the power of association.
Okay.
That's really what it is.
Okay. So we have this trickle-down effect. Sports media, and now every time I look up, Jason Kelsey is doing something else on ESPN. He's on the pregame Monday night show. He's on the halftime
I confuse them
Monday
both.
night.
I don't know. I think they're interchangeable.
Well, and
they're
what's
just
your description of them?
They're a little very mountain men-ish.
Mountain men?
But
so they just look like
they're very gladiator-like to me.
Really?
They're very gladiator, yeah. But they both look the same. I thought they were twins in the beginning, but
Really?
they're not twins.
Oh, I think they look very different.
Really?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't watch all of those commercials. You watch
Travis
them more because
more dashing, handsome.
I thought they both looked similar.
No?
No, but that's my opinion. Again, like I just said, I don't watch all the commercials you watch on sports because I'm not watching them.
Okay.
But
all
it's
of a sudden,
kind of it's a little bit of Kardashian effect.
Yeah, maybe.
It's the way the Kardashians started out, and then it was a domino effect of everyone in their life became a superstar and then had their own show and their own clothing line. So
That's true.
Eventually, and even the younger ones, the kids of Kim and Khloe and
blah, blah,
they
blah.
all go on, they become superstars immediately. But that's the way of this crazy world.
And I've worked with dozens and dozens of ex-stars on television, and there's always this phenomenon of they've lost their platform in pro football or basketball or baseball, whatever it is. And all of a sudden they think they have to be something else on TV. So you tend to watch them act out or act up or just act on TV. And now every time I see Jason Kelce, he's dressed wildly with all kinds of outfits. He's become this character on TV, and he's mugging for the camera and making faces to the camera. And God bless him. I'm not jealous of him. I don't resent him. I hope
he's found a new
I hope
career.
He's got a 50-year career ahead of him on television, because he seems like he's pretty great on television. You don't know how it's going to endure, but the point of his...
But he has a built-in audience. Yeah, it's a built-in audience.
Okay, but you have to understand, you don't get football that well.
No.
He snaps the ball, and he was very good at snapping and blocking. And he was, I think I wrote this down, he was a 6-time All-Pro. He's first-team All-Pro 6 times, so that's really good. That's Hall of Fame credentials. And he made 7 Pro Bowls, Hall of Fame credentials. So will he ultimately get into the Hall of Fame? It's funny.
And he just retired, right?
Yeah, just a year. He's just a year out. Yeah. But he was viewed as, I guess, the best center in pro football during his era.
Yeah.
So I looked this up. There are 9 centers in the Hall of Fame. But nobody really knows any of them, except I'm a pro football nut, so I know all of them and their backgrounds. But there's Jim Otto. He wore 00 because of Otto for the Raiders. He was one of the great Raiders. And he was a tough guy, and I think he went through 29 surgeries and kept playing. And then there's Jim Ringo and Mike Webster, the Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty, and Dwight Stevenson of the Dolphins, Jim Longer of the Dolphins.
On and on and on.
And there was Jeff Saturday, who I worked with at ESPN. Him. Well, he briefly was the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
I remember him.
But Jeff Saturday is very good on TV. He's a very good analyst. We used to have him on First Take.
Yeah.
But he's just another guy on ESPN. He's just another talking head ex-player analyst.
His brother was not dating the biggest pop star in the world.
And what Jeff had going for him was he snapped the ball to Peyton Manning. There's
a built-in
fame by association there, but it's not like the Taylor Swift effect.
No.
Because it is tidal wave effect, right?
Yeah, well, they're just riding that tidal wave.
Okay. So Jeff Saturday has had a good TV career, but in just a few months, Jason Kelce's off to the all-time races.
It's a mind boggler. Yeah, it really is.
And to me, I'm not sure anybody would care about him at all this quickly, if not for her. And she's not even with him. She's with his brother.
It's the Kardashian effect once again. But you have to wonder if he decided, as he just retired, if that was the path he wanted to go, it probably would have taken a lot longer to get to that path.
The path chose him.
Right. Well,
and now it's choosing...
You know that the PR agencies and the advertising agencies and every company says, well, if we can't get the real deal, let's go for the close to the real deal.
Because clearly Jason Kelce can bring in the Swifties, who are now becoming football fans only because of Travis.
Yeah. It's the trickle down, and they need to be close to whoever is close to that person. Okay. So,
and again, we're not at all jealous or resentful of Jason's wife. What's her name? Kylie.
I don't even know her name. I hate to be honest with you.
So Kylie Kelce now has a podcast that's exploding because of the Swifties.
I know, but somebody mentioned to me.
Not Gonna Lie.
I don't know. Someone mentioned to me, a friend of mine read a comment off of our podcast, and somebody had said that we're knocking off the wife. I don't even know her name. I'm sorry. No. I don't know her name until now. But the only thing I can say to that is I've been with you for 19 years. I've lived this life a little bit longer than she has. And I also look at the timestamp on my book, Balls, How to Keep Your Relationship Alive When You Live with a Sports Obsessed Guy. So that was...
ago?
No, it was not that long ago. But no, 2019. Okay. Right before COVID. All right. So I think there's no way I'm knocking her off again. I don't.
And they're not knocking us off either.
No, I don't think they're knocking us off because they keep bringing on the boyfriend of Taylor. So
okay, but the way this thing is going, this Taylor Swift effect, now it feels like the mom of Travis
Oh, the
And
mom
Jason,
is on the cover of Women's World and First
she must
magazine.
have a couple of talk shows herself.
I'm sure they're probably brewing in the sidelines, but she's
and the way this thing is going,
GMA, Today Show,
because Kylie is now pregnant with their fourth daughter, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Well, the way this is going, somebody's probably already signed the unborn baby to an ESPN deal, a future deal, because she's going to be hot. She's going to be a big star.
She's got a clothing deal.
She's got a clothing deal before she's born, because that's the way it's going. It's the Taylor Swift effect.
It's just a phenomenon.
And God help the Kelsey family if Travis and Taylor don't make it.
If they ever break up,
oh, Lord
God
have mercy.
knows what will happen. There'll be a meltdown, a family meltdown.
I don't know. I'm afraid the Swifties would vacate quickly. And God help them if Travis, I'm just making this up, but if he ever got caught cheating on Taylor, it's over, right? It's over for everybody. So be careful, Travis, with that one.
But we wish you luck.
Yeah, Hazel's worked up about that one. You're doing
Hazel
a good
says,
job. You're doing
not my
job.
mom and dad. They're the OG. They're the OG.
She's got a deal. We got her a shoe deal,
no,
right?
She got a paw deal. She's got a Caesar deal.
A paw deal. Okay,
and she loves Caesar.
All right, next subject. New Year's resolutions.
Oh, jeez.
You know, it's funny. You and I we've been together almost 20 years now, and we've never talked New Year's resolutions.
Well, I do say to you every New Year's Eve, hey, do you have a New Year's resolution? And you always say, no, I don't believe in resolutions.
Okay, why do I say that?
I don't know. Why do you say that?
Because
I never got that answer.
Everybody's New Year's resolution tends to deal with, I got to start exercising, right?
Lose weight, exercise.
Yeah, it's one of those two things.
Yeah.
Well,
stop drinking.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, so I don't have any of those. I got lots of problems, but I don't have those problems.
Neither do I, but I still make resolutions.
Okay, but I've told you I need an unresolution because you're always on me. You exercise too much.
Well, you're obsessive.
I am, I'd say, obsessive compulsive, right?
Unobsessed.
Like crazed, and my body is always in some stage of injury.
Well, you're always icing your knees and your back.
My right knee right now is going crazy, and I'm icing it all
ice
night.
Packs all over the house. Yeah,
we need got to.
That's your resolution.
No
more ice
miracle
packs.
Cure. It's the miracle
cure.
Well, it just is. It saves me, but I've got them on my shoulders, but I've
know.
always got
every
them on
night.
my knee.
Every
but
night.
I always tell you that I do an hour of cardio every day, I don't take a day off, and you say you should take a day off. I never take a day off.
Well, he's obsessed, so it's hard to take a day off when you're obsessed with something.
So is there such a thing as an unresolution?
I think you just created it.
Okay.
You created the unresolution.
Are you mad at our producer?
Here's a give you a little treat. Here, hang on, Hazel. Here, I'll give you a little bone. Okay.
She doesn't like any other humans, and our producer Tyler is nearby, and she's not happy that he's here. She's eyeing him suspiciously.
It's okay.
And if I let her run,
no, that would be bad.
She would attack because she is the warrior princess Hazel.
Okay.
I know she looks fairly tame and
innocent.
Sweet right now and innocent, but no, she's not. Trust me, she is a psycho. When she attacks, she goes full out. Fearless. We're going to talk about her in just a second. But
anyway, back to the resolution.
Do you have a resolution?
I have a bunch of them. I always come back to, since I was, a psychic once told me I'm the mother to the world.
Yes.
Trying not to take care of everyone else and take care of myself better than taking care of other people.
Yeah.
Which I always do. I always worry about other people over me. Mm-hmm. So that's one. The other is to stop saying yes to things when I really don't want to do something.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll say yes. Do you want to go here with somebody? Okay. And then the morning I'm like, oh God, why did I say yes? So to just think before I say yes.
Okay. So every time I propose going somewhere, am I going to get a no?
Then I dread it the morning. Why did I say yes? No, not really you. I can say, I don't feel like going.
And I do get that often.
Sometimes. Those are my two.
Okay, good. All right, so we haven't talked about this one, and I'm going to bare my soul on this one.
Okay.
So I grew up in a weird neighborhood in Oklahoma City because it was this hybrid neighborhood of poor and middle class. And the poor, there were lots of streets over on sort of the left side of the neighborhood that were all 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses built right after World War II. Mm-hmm. And they housed some families that would qualify as white trashy to me,
right,
with tough, rough, hellion kids that I went to grade school with at Mayfair Grade School. And then if you crossed a street called Grand Boulevard, there were a couple of new housing additions that were just starting, one called Treadwell Hills. And in those, they were building these new, bigger houses, not huge houses, but
fancy.
But for the time, fancy for those days. And all of a sudden, so our classes would have some kids who were middle, you might even go to upper middle class, and a whole lot of kids who, if I may, they were white trashy.
Okay.
And I was somewhere in the middle because my dad ran this sort of hole-in-the-wall barbecue restaurant, and some days we had some money and some days we didn't have any. But by the time I was 5, we had enough money that my mom and dad, she worked at the restaurant also, they thought we could afford the mortgage to build a new house across Grand Boulevard that was a grand total of 3 bedrooms and 2 baths.
Well, that was big
because they wanted to have one more kid. There was my brother who's 2 years younger, and then they had my sister who's 7 years younger than I was.
Right.
So I'm going to school, grade school, with a lot of tough, delinquent type kids.
Right.
In those days, they used the word punk like they were punks.
Right.
That they just weren't good kids.
Yeah.
But I hung out with them. I liked them, and I played sports with and against them.
Right.
Well, they all had foul mouths, and so I grew up with the foulest mouth. I was listen. If you wanted to trash talk on the playground or in somebody's backyard playing football.
Playground.
Well, seriously.
7 years old.
Okay, well, I was a big trash talk.
God.
Well, I was.
This is like something out of the Charlie Brown episode or something.
No, it was way beyond. This is more X-rated. But I knew all the words when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. All the F words, all the MF words.
Yeah.
I knew all the bad words.
Yeah.
In those days, and it's a long time ago, but I'm spitting them out all over everywhere. Especially,
you don't even know what you're saying.
No, but in the backyard games, we would really get into it, and there'd be. I told you, I fought my way home from Mayfair Grade School.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times. I was always into it with somebody, and there's always a lot of foul language going. So, look, people.
Is this
know,
something to do with the resolution?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering where we're going. Okay.
You know where we're going.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the point is that I feel bad because even though I believe in God, I do go to church, I still use foul language too much. But the weird thing is I never use it outside of our house. I only use it with you, and I mostly only use it when we fight.
That is true.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to get your attention and alert you, signal you that I'm really mad about this. I'm about to blow.
It's called fighting with somebody.
Okay, but I need to use a word to signal you, hey, back off because I'm about to go here.
I'm about to blow, so I'm going to use an F word.
Okay.
That's like crazy. But
I don't like it. I don't like myself for doing it. And every time
I don't like when you do it.
Okay, every time it spills out of my mouth, I'm like, what am I doing? Because I'm better than this. Because what I've always thought about cursing is that you can do better than that. Like those words are so handy. They're so easy. And everybody uses the F word as an adjective and as a noun.
Right.
And it's F you or it's effing this or effing that. And it's just lazy because you can do better. And now I feel like because for the first 15 years I knew you never cursed, rarely.
Very rarely.
And now it seems like lately, since we've been in LA, that you've started to curse more.
Maybe since I moved to LA.
Maybe
that brings it out of me.
Okay.
Because the LA world
and New York doesn't?
New York is different.
Yeah.
LA, it's insanity out here every day. So maybe that's why I started cursing more. I don't know.
Okay.
But
so
sometimes I walk around the house just cursing my head off, or I go outside. It's not like I'm a sailor.
No, but you do use it more.
I do use it more.
Like, wow,
I do.
Ernestine just cursed.
But that's not one of my resolutions to give that up.
Okay,
that's your resolution.
It's my resolution because I'm ashamed of it.
Okay,
I admit it.
All right, that's
and
a good resolution.
I'm better.
Okay,
and I've actually, as crazy as it sounds, I actually pray for the strength to not curse. Like,
well, that's okay.
Like purify my tongue, take it out, because I always tell you, the words that come out of your mouth, they go out there and they have impact, because you can speak something into existence, right?
Yes, they're terrible.
Okay, so my New Year's resolution, after you said I was telling too long of a story, you have to know my background to know that I want to stop it. And yet, I don't know if I'm capable, because I've done it since I was 5 years old, and I don't know if
But you only do it to me.
Yeah, that's true. Because all my friends will tell you when I play golf, I might mutter something under my breath, but the guys I play golf with at Brentwood Country Club, I'll go 18 holes. I don't my friend Ryan, my friend Denny, maybe they've heard little things under my breath, but I never would just in casual conversation say effing this or F that, or I just don't say it. You wait
and you store it up for me.
I do. But
I must bring something out of you that's just a cursing.
That's our communication language. That's our fighting language. To me. Maybe it's how I unburden myself, is to say those words and it spills out.
I get a therapist to write in and respond to that.
She hears a lot of words if I'm watching a game, because she'll never watch a game with me.
I do hear you yelling. No. Wait, you're. This is totally not.
Okay, but I yell it at the TV.
I'm across the house, and I can hear you. If your team is losing, you're yelling.
And she doesn't care at all.
Blah blah blah.
I'm capable.
Right. And I call my sister immediately. I go, oh God, just be glad you're not here. Because
I know, but I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the television. I'm yelling at the Dallas Cowboys.
But still, it's very upsetting if you hear somebody yelling. I'm just
trying to unburden myself. If I scream those words at the TV, I get it out of me.
I know, but I'm hearing them on the other side, and it's just like I got to run because this is like explosive.
Yeah, okay.
And poor Hazel has to put up with it.
Okay, so that's my promise to you, quote unquote.
Okay.
My vow to you, my resolution to you is I'm not going to curse anymore.
Okay. We'll see how long that lasts.
We will.
Okay.
Like 34 seconds.
Right.
I might curse before this is over. What's wrong with you? I don't know what your problem is.
But you still curse at the games.
Okay. It's time, speaking of, it's time for a topic that Hazel will finally enjoy. This topic is about Hazel.
Oh, she's saying, thank the Lord, finally, about me. It's all about me.
Okay.
That's what Hazel says, right?
Okay, so
it's all about you.
Ernestine thinks this was an invasion of Hazel's privacy, but terrible. Just to prove to you that I was not exaggerating, on a previous podcast, the other night, I took a quick video.
He's videotaping Hazel
of Hazel peeing the other night, because she always, not just once or twice, she always lifts her leg to pee.
Right, because you taught her how to lift her leg because you want her to be a boy.
The way a boy dog lifts his legs to pee, and she is a she.
She has to lift her leg to pee.
I like to say she's a tomboy. Is that fair? I don't know.
She's a little girl.
Okay.
She
does have a lot of boy in her.
She's a girl that got lost in the wrong house.
Well, that's true, because I wanted a boy dog.
You did.
I wanted a big dog.
And I wanted a small dog.
You wanted a smaller dog than she is.
Right, she grew,
you
but
got
I still
fooled
love it.
by it.
Right.
And you wanted a she.
Right.
So we got a she. And
who knows? Who does not know how to pee?
Okay, you have accused me of teaching her to pee like a boy.
You probably stood outside and said, "Lift your leg."
The truth is, you can't teach a dog to pee like a boy.
I don't know. She's very smart. She probably realized. Oh,
okay, that's by suggestion or osmosis. It's not by command. I never say, Hazel, pee like a boy, and I'll give you a treat.
No, I probably showed her. You probably lifted your leg.
Okay, so it's like a 4-second video, and she hikes up her right leg to pee.
Hikes up her leg.
Okay, but does she not do it every single time if we walk her outside?
There are a couple of times where she squats, but most of the time, I'd say 98% of the time, she lifts her leg.
And obviously she has to squat to poop, but just to pee, she boy pees. Right?
But she also has this thing where if you want to rub her, she lifts her leg up.
Okay,
right?
You call it
cartwheel.
Wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow,
right?
Wheelbarrow.
She lifts up her leg, so she likes
lifts up
to
her back leg when you pet her, and she likes, so she lifts up her leg. So I think it's almost part of the peeing thing.
Okay. And the other boy-girl thing is, and you actually have come over to my side on this.
Yeah.
We have a groomer who comes because she's pure white and she gets pure brown by the end of the week. She comes and washes her. She's coming today to wash her because she just gets the Malteses get the tears under their eyes. They get black.
She puts her feathers on her. She likes her feathers.
And she starts to stink after about a week. So she gets quote unquote groomed.
Washed, yeah.
And to when she finishes, named Mary, or she's very good at what she does. She always puts the feathers in, which I don't love, except it's become her signature, right?
That's her trademark.
And when we take her to the mall to walk her among all the other dogs, everybody knows Hazel. But look at the feathers.
They love her feathers.
Okay, but she also comes out of Mary's mobile unit,
the van,
with a bandana on.
Well, she does.
Like a Christmas
bandana that comes on.
Is she going to get a treat for this?
She's going to get a treat for that. Okay. I love those bandanas. She wears a little bandana, and this week they put a Christmas bandana on her.
Okay.
It was adorable. And then she made it in the house. I brought her in. I said, look how cute that bandana is.
But she doesn't like it
and
either.
The next minute, he took it off.
Okay, but
he took it off.
Did you not suggest that I take it off?
No, I said, look, she doesn't mind it. She's not really hating it. And then you took the bandana off.
Yeah.
And then she ran around with the bandana, chewing it up.
She did, because she hates it.
Yeah, well, because you gave it to her and said, Luke, this is bad.
Because you're trying to turn her into a girly girl.
She is a girl.
She's a tomboy.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
She's a girl.
And
you're a girl.
I do think that you get threatened by
her
how
being
she
a
gravitates to me.
Oh, well, you've made her your dog.
I have not. I didn't try. She just hangs out with me for the most part. She likes to watch games with me.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
she loves watching
she watched
football games.
3 straight football games with me.
Oh, please.
3 hours, 3 hours, and 3 hours. That's 9 straight hours. I do not. I let her go pee. But
yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
Okay.
And you give her a bone.
I give her a bone.
And then she has to go right back in there.
I know, but she actually loves it in there. She mostly sleeps, but she watches whenever it's.
You need her for
a tight finish.
She's
okay. So admit it. Just publicly admit that you're a little threatened by her gravitational pull to me.
No, it's your weirdness with the dog.
I'm not.
The minute you walk in, where's Hazel? As opposed to,
no,
how are you?
She comes scrambling over to me and goes crazy.
Where's Hazel? What's going on with Hazel?
That's not true.
I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I have to acknowledge her first, and then I'm okay.
There's a ranking.
Okay. Next topic.
Yeah.
So we recently binge watched on Netflix No Good Deed. I will recommend it. It's actually
great.
It's very good in the overview.
Yeah, I loved it.
But I don't think I've ever been more blindsided and dumbfounded by what a series turns into in its final 2 of 8 total episodes. So for me, this was classic man-woman clash, because this show went from, for me, edge-of-seat thriller, blood and guts murder mystery, to last 2 episodes, chick flick tearjerker. Seriously.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, the last 2 episodes belonged on Lifetime.
It was
which
very
you
emotional.
loved.
Yeah.
So when it ended, I glance over at Ernestine, and she's crying. She's crying.
It's an emotional series.
Okay.
I mean, it's a funny series.
Okay.
It's a dark comedy. It's everything. Okay.
But I felt like crying when it ended, because I felt so let down, so bamboozled. And to your point,
I would still recommend
it. Netflix previews this series as quote unquote dark comedy.
Yeah.
And there are some grins, especially in the first 4 or 5 episodes.
It stars Lisa Kudrow, first of all, who's amazing.
But because of this over-the-top wackiness in the first 4 episodes of the characters who get increasingly desperate, because they get in desperate situations. But there's not a single chuckle in the last 2 episodes. Am I right?
I don't know. Maybe there's a few.
There's nothing. There's no chuckle.
There's surprises, which makes you laugh. But then it becomes a
but it's
very
a family
heartfelt
drama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
it's a heart tug.
Lisa Kudrow, it has Ray Romano, it has Linda Lavin, who just passed away.
Oh, she did? I didn't know that.
Last night.
What?
87.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, she's in it. She's
Seems
wonderful.
like every day you come in and tell me somebody else passed away.
I can't help it.
Jimmy Carter, may he rest in
Jimmy
peace.
Carter, Linda Lavin, Olivia Hussey, Dale Haddon. These are all
Who knew that
iconic.
Jimmy Carter's name was going to be in the same sentence with Linda Lavin and Olivia Hussey? But way to go.
But back to No Good Deed.
Okay.
I would highly recommend it. It's entertaining. It's got a little murders in the building.
Dennis Leary is also
Dennis Leary is in it.
Plays
He's wonderful.
kind of the villain.
Yeah, he's great. Abby Jacobson. Oh God, it's more. This
that I don't know
Luke
how you
Wilson.
pronounce her. Oh, Luke Wilson's
Wilson
in it.
is wonderful.
That Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, she's great.
That's how you pronounce her last name. She plays the other villain.
It's cast really well. The story is really great. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. That's all you need.
Okay, but I didn't want to have to cry at the end of it because it's
human.
shaped up as such a thriller with such a convoluted, complex, crazed plot. But we don't want to obviously spoil it, but it's built around a murder. We won't say of whom, that has taken place in a house that's on the market
in LA,
in the Los Feliz neighborhood of LA, and the neighbors want to buy it, and the two lesbians want to buy it, and the black family wants to buy it. We go into each of their lives,
person who wants to buy it,
and you start to make an opinion of whether they deserve this great house or not.
And then they all become entangled somehow. The people that are going to buy it, they touch each other's lives.
They do. But you have been big when we've tried to buy a property on if somebody dies.
I don't want to live in a house that I know somebody died in.
Because in our
it's very eerie to
complex that we live in, there was a home that we made an offer on it.
We did, and then we found out.
In fact, I think the offer was accepted.
I think so.
Right?
But then we found out the mother died in the back room, older woman, and then the father died in the back room, and it was a very dark room. And to me, I just can't live.
It was literally dark and figuratively.
I lived in New York City all my life. You don't know who lived in that apartment house that, the apartment that you're renting. People have died left and right, I'm sure, but you don't know that. But when you go into a house knowing somebody died here, somebody died there, to me, it's some people aren't bothered by it. I'm bothered by it.
Okay.
Well, you're bothered by it.
Not the way you are. It's not a deal breaker. I would have bought that unit.
You would have, we would have bought that, and then you would never have gone into the room. You would have been like, no, I think I'm going to sleep on the couch tonight.
But I lived in hotel rooms for the first 30 years of my career, and surely bad stuff had happened.
But you don't think about
rooms,
that until you buy a house.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some good ghost stories we can tell another time.
Yeah.
That are real ghost stories.
Our ghost stories.
Those are great. These legit. Are real ghost stories. Very real.
We had one at my friend's house in Oklahoma City one night.
That was a real one.
It was
and then we had another real one in the condo we lived in before this.
Oh, when we first got there.
And then we had one in here
where
we live now.
Okay, so next episode we will tell all of our ghost stories. And I didn't believe in ghosts until I got here. Now I believe in ghosts.
There are supernatural things.
Hazel has cashed out and she's starting to go to sleep on my lap. Good for her. Okay, let's reset our Christmas gift-giving dilemma that we went through. We talked about it on a previous podcast, and I told you I'm at a loss because I don't know how to buy for you.
Right.
And you always despised the fact that I would say, let's go shopping, because then it takes all the surprise out of it.
The surprise, yeah.
Right?
But you surprised me this Christmas.
Okay, but I surprised you last Christmas.
Well, you did, but that was with the Oscar gown that you bought me, the gown that I should wear to the Oscars, which I'm probably never going to go to an Oscar in my life.
You shamed me into the night, literally on Christmas Eve. I had to we live near a mall, and I just put on my hat and sunglasses, and I strode all the way to the mall in the dark.
At 8 o'clock at night before the mall closed. And I was more fearful you were getting killed out on the street.
For her, and they wrapped it. And
it was beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Again, I still have it. It's a beautiful gown.
I didn't know that she didn't have anywhere to go.
It's a gold lame gown. I would love to go to the Oscars or the Emmys or the Golden Globe.
Okay.
If I could.
Okay, so this year we did have a New Year's Christmas resolution because you did agree with me. Let's at least tell each other what we want. And then you can sort of be surprised if the other person actually gets what you request.
I was okay with that.
Right?
Yeah.
So guess what she tells me she wants?
I wanted new seat covers for the little
Mercedes?
560 SL 1988 Mercedes, because I have right now
seat covers.
Yeah, because I have funky 1970s.
But the point is,
seat covers that are kind of they need to be updated.
The point is that I don't know how to buy seat covers for your Mercedes, and plus, you want to talk about an unromantic Christmas gift?
Well, I figured I'd get something I need.
I got seat covers for you. Here, let me unwrap these seat covers. Well, I got seat covers.
I figured it was better than getting me a
so
gown
happy.
that I'm not going to wear. I could actually use the seat covers because mine are, I got them, but they don't fit really that well, and I need it anyway. But in the end,
I wrestled for days with seat covers.
Yeah.
Where do I get seat covers? How do I wrap seat covers? How am I going to
I
pull all this off?
Somewhere, but
you would have, but I'm not as skilled as you are that way.
Yeah.
That's not my forte.
It's okay. You did. You did really good.
Okay, because I panicked again, and this was like 3 days before Christmas. And I put on my hat and sunglasses.
You did.
This was the Friday before Wednesday Christmas. And I strode to the mall, and I walked all the way down the mall
back to the store,
to the same store that I scored out the year before.
The only store you know.
What's it called? Sandro.
It's a good store.
It's a very good store. It's a chain. They're always nice to me.
They know you. Oh, that's the guy that came on Christmas Eve.
They say, "Oh, he's back. He's in trouble." Dress. Yeah. So I saw this blazer.
Oh, it was nice in the window.
In the window.
I even liked it.
With big gold.
Yeah, it's a double-breasted gold button blazer with good shoulder pads. It was great.
Okay, and I thought it kind of looks like her because you have another one kind of like it, except it's like velvety or something.
Yeah, I have a velvet one. Yeah.
Okay, and you wore it.
Did you go looking through my clothes?
No, you wore it on here, like two podcasts.
Yeah,
ago.
that was. I have another different one with gold. Yeah.
Okay, so I decided that looks enough like you, and I know that you've had something close to this.
Right. So then
I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to take it. And the woman kind of wrapped it up. She just put it in a bag for me and wrapped it in tissue paper.
Nice.
It was fine. And then we do our presents on Christmas, and your sister Joyce came over, and my cards were great. I think I out-carded you this time. I did great cards. I'm good at that.
We should have brought the cards on.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, you did. We did good cards.
The final gift that I brought out, the pièce de résistance, was I pull out my Sandro bag.
Yeah, the Sandro. I genuinely was
surprised. And
then he immediately said, "Well, I know you don't like it."
Yeah, I didn't think she liked it because you could never tell. Because then the pressure of Christmas is you're forced because you're on stage to say, "Oh, thank you.
This is so great." It's just. You're not on stage, you're in life. Well, it's just,
Okay.
But it was good. I loved it.
Okay.
I already brought it to the tailor to get it taken in because it's a little too big.
Conversely, I asked you for some golf shoes, and they were not expensive, but they're Puma golf shoes. Yeah, and she actually sent off for them, and I asked for some belts
woven belts that you could wear when you play golf.
Like ropey, not rope belts.
They're woven.
They're woven.
Yeah, woven stretch belts for golf.
And
I got
me those.
One of every color.
Okay, so I was good to go with that, and those made me happy because they are exactly what I needed, and they will not go to the back of the closet, never to be worn.
And Hazel got you some good stuff. She got you that Puma jog set.
Oh, that was nice.
That blue jog set.
No, I like it. I will
crushed
wear
velvety thing.
Yeah.
And what else did she get? Oh, she got you Levi's.
Levi's, she did. That was good.
She did well too.
I liked them. I did. And then your sister Joyce got me these. Are they Uggs?
Oh, they're Uggs.
Yeah, they're Uggs, but
slippers.
they're slippers, but you can wear them
outside. They have a tread bottom. They're nice.
You keep forcing the slippers on me because I'm not a slipper person. But these,
it's part of the world.
These can work.
They're good. Okay, you can wear them outside.
You can wear them outside, which if I can do that, I'll be okay. But I never.
Definitely.
You keep trying to mold me into something I'm not. I don't wear slippers.
He walks around with no shoes and socks on. We have carpeting, but I always say to him, "Oh, maybe you should put on a pair of slippers." And he says, I don't wear slippers. That's you. But then you say, oh, I hit my toe on something, whatever you do. And I say, well, if you have the slippers on, or you go, my feet are cold, put slippers on.
Or socks.
Yeah. But slippers have like a inside shearling thing, make your feet warm.
By the way, the other night at dinner, we're talking about messy, not messy. And you claimed to our friends from New York that I'm messy. And I'm like, I'm not messy. Oh, you said I leave. You leave protein bar wrappers around. I don't. I put them in the trash.
And if I don't put the garbage bag in the kitchen, if say I empty the garbage and then there are garbage bags, you can open up the drawer. There's a garbage bag. You just leave by the time I get back, there's a Mountain Dew bottle. There's a protein bar thing. There's another thing.
But I don't lay them on the counter. I put them in the trash.
But when there's no trash bag in the trash, just get a new trash bag and put them in. You leave them on the counter.
Well, that's your job.
I designated trash girl.
Okay,
yes, that's me.
But I'm organized messy.
Organized,
I keep it where it's supposed to
organized,
be
messy.
messed up,
yes,
right?
that's true. I take that back. Very.
And then sometimes I lay out my clothes and you come in and you put them up. And I'm like, I had them laid out for a reason because I'm going to wear them tomorrow.
Well, if they're on the bed or somewhere, you have to. I'm a tidy person.
All right, let's get to your questions.
Okay.
Which we enjoy and we appreciate. This is Grant from New Jersey, who asks, what was the approach to your relationship with you, Ernestine, living in New York, and you, Skip, living in Connecticut? Fire away.
Well, that was pretty hard. That was a tough one. Because when I first met him, he was living in New York, and I was living in New York City.
Because my show, Cold Pizza, was in New York, based at 34th and 8th.
Yeah.
So when I said one of my favorite movies was Miracle on 34th Street, it had hidden message to me because I had a Miracle on 34th Street because Cold Pizza took off and became First Take.
Right.
Okay.
And then you then moved to Connecticut, and then I was still living in New York City.
Problem.
So that was a problem, and then we started commuting back and forth. You would come back
because
on
I did
Friday.
have a car service that took me from New York to Connecticut and back, but sometimes we could reverse the car service and just have the car service pick you up in New York on Friday and bring you to Connecticut, and you would spend the weekend with me in Bristol/Southington, Connecticut,
right,
where I lived at the Residence Inn Hotel for 365 days a year. I just kept my room, my stuff there on the third floor. And you started to enjoy those weekends.
That was fun. Yeah, there was a great Target right down the street. It was a big Target, big Target. What do they call Target? Super Targets.
Yeah.
And we had the movies, and we had fun things to do there. So it was hard. And then I would go up there. You would come back down. In the winter, it was tough with the weather. That was tough.
Because the 2-hour drive from Bristol to New York City can be 6 hours in the snow. One night, I think it went 8 hours
that was
in the
a
snow
tough one.
where I was just gridlocked.
You had to go to the bathroom, remember, in the car? Oh, my God, that was terrible.
I didn't actually go in the car.
No, you didn't go in the car, but
we were stuck in a traffic jam, and I had to just pee in the snow.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was bad.
Because
I was out of my mind.
That was a bad one.
It was a bad night, but that's going to happen if you're going to do this. But my answer to this question is that the great thing about it was, for me, I'm only speaking from the guy's perspective here, is that for those years, we did it for 10 years, I believe, there was some good in you had your life and your job in New York during the week, and we reunited for a date night on Friday night.
Well, we only saw each other a day and a half a week. Friday night
close to 2 days.
Sunday
afternoon,
1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
That was like a day and a half, a full day on Saturday.
But then I could look forward to that, and we didn't really live together.
No,
I would spend the
day and a half a week. I would come up to you, or you'd come to me.
Okay, but
so we didn't live together until we moved out
with
here.
My shows and my work, so I just did what I did during the week, and we talked 29 times every day.
Yeah,
I called her as soon as I got off the air at noontime Eastern.
Yeah.
And I called you after I worked out.
Right. No, we would talk all the time on the phone.
Okay. I miss part of that because once we came here, we obviously got married and then came here.
Right.
Then everything changes because
we live together.
If you haven't figured this out, living together is hard, especially when you're married, because now there's no way. This is it.
No, it's a whole different world.
This is what you're going to do.
Yeah, it's
and
a different world.
I see her every day and every night.
That's why it's called living together and you're married.
Okay, but that's...
Right. But I keep waiting for you to leave to go back to Connecticut and you're still here. I don't know what happens on Sunday. It's like, why are you here?
Do you not miss...
Oh, I miss those days. Yeah, I miss those days.
It was actually a better deal for our relationship than being married is.
Well, definitely. But that's why a lot of couples don't live together. You know, back in the day, Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman, they didn't live together.
Really? I didn't know
Woody
that.
Allen and Mia didn't live together.
They didn't live together.
Helena Bonham Carter and
Woody
Tim
and
Burton
Mia
they lived across Central Park and they could see each other's buildings.
But they didn't live together.
Yeah, there are a lot of couples that don't.
There's some good to that.
There is.
Maybe
I believe.
more than you might No.
I believe that too. We agree.
This is Brent from Des Moines. Love Des Moines. Ernestine, do you also drink Diet Mountain Dew every day?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
I don't
not.
even drink soda.
Nope, she
I
does
gave
not
up
drink.
caffeine years ago.
Years ago, when I first knew her, she just stopped.
Yeah,
cold
I stopped.
turkey.
I only drink sparkling water, like a Saratoga or Perrier or Pellegrino, and then I drink decaffeinated tea. I don't drink any caffeine, so I have celestial tea, peppermint, or lemon ginger.
Okay,
that's all I drink.
So you have some cheats in your diet that I wouldn't do, and I have some cheats in my diet that you would never think about. And one of those cheats in my intake is Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah. I limit myself to one a day, but I do like the caffeine jolt in the morning. I had one before we taped the show, and sometimes I save it to pump me up, to pump when I lift weights, because I need a quick caffeine hit to get rolling into my weights, because a lot of times you just don't feel like it until you feel like it. And then
I have natural energy.
You do have a lot of natural energy.
I haven't had caffeine in like 20 years.
You eat things at night. You'll eat these Weight Watchers pizzas on a regular basis at night.
I like them. Lean cuisine.
I'm lean cuisine.
Lean cuisine pizzas. They're the best.
I would never do that. But
they're so good.
Okay, well, there we go.
My cheat.
All right. This is Luke, who asked an interesting question. Beatles or Rolling Stones? Now, quick point of reference here. She's 10 years younger than I am, but her soul is 20 years older than I am.
That is true.
So she grew up with an older sister and older brother. She's the youngest, and she knows everything about 60s rock and roll,
also
which features, she knows the 40s. Yeah, she knows, we're going to get to this in a moment, but she knows old movies. And hey, you got to stop. You just got to stop. It's okay.
She's in rare form.
Yeah, she's in rare form. She's usually not like this. I don't know how it happened. She's keyed up.
She's jacked up on your Mountain Dew.
Maybe she took a sip of my
I think she could have.
Yeah. But the point is that Beatles and Rolling Stones were it in the 60s at the top of the pops, as they said in London.
That's true.
And in the end, you kind of had to choose, are you this or are you that? So you go first.
Beatles.
All the way.
All the way.
Because?
I just think that the Beatles had a softer touch to them. Rolling Stones, I love the Rolling Stones, and I love Keith and Mick and Charlie, and I love them all. Ron Wood. But they were a little bit harder and edgier.
They had a harder edge.
Even though the Beatles had some hard, edgy music, especially when you got into the White Album and you got into, Strawberry Fields and the psychedelic time. But I think the softer music I like, back from the 60s.
Okay.
The Rubber Soul album, so Meet the Beatles.
The irony to what you're saying, and I didn't know this until later in life, but the Rolling Stones, edgier, were actually the rich kids, and the Beatles were the truly bad boys from the bad side of Liverpool,
right,
who were singing the sweet music, the nice music that the parents endorsed and signed off on. And the parents didn't like the Rolling Stones, but they were the rich kids.
Right,
but they were just playing a role.
They fooled everyone.
They fooled. Don't get fooled again.
Don't get fooled again. Yeah,
okay, that's a whole nother issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I am with you. In the end, if you force me to desert island choose, I'm going to go Beatles, just because, as great as the Rolling Stones were and are still, the Beatles had more range, and they just never made a bad song. I can give you a couple, which I won't, but there are a couple of songs that I would hit next on.
You can't beat Lennon and McCartney.
You just
writing.
Can't.
And George Harrison, who was my favorite.
They don't
Beatle.
miss. They just it's just one song. You can give me any album. You can do Rubber Soul. You can do the White Album. You can do
Meet the Beatles.
And I can just play it. Help and Hard Day's Night. You can just play it straight through, and it's just
every cut is great.
Yeah.
Every cut.
Now I can mostly do that with the Rolling Stones, but here's the difference. I would much rather watch the Rolling Stones perform than the Beatles, even though we like to watch the movie Help and the movie Hard Day Night. And you see them, but they're not as visually entertaining.
No, as Mick.
As Mick is. Because
and
Mick
Keith
is
Richards
a one and only.
Yeah, and Keith Richards.
Right? They
yeah.
put on a show. I have seen the Rolling Stones live 5 times. Saw them at Wembley. Saw them a couple times in Dallas. Where else did I see them? Saw them out here in L.A. But
no, they are showmen.
Yeah, she's not happy with somebody.
That's okay.
Yeah, she might be disagreeing. She might be
wants
Rolling
the Beach
Stones.
Boys.
She wants the Beach Boys because she's a Valley girl. She was
likes
born
the
in
Beach
Burbank,
Boys.
California.
Yes.
Born and raised.
She is. She's a Valley girl.
All right. Next question is from at JasonB6081. Love this show. It humanizes Skip from this cold-blooded media personality to a real person.
Yes, that is true.
Am I a cold-blooded media personality? God.
You could be at times.
At times.
You have been.
You've seen that
still
side
are.
of me.
Yeah, but he
The
does. He
F-bomb
does.
side,
He
right?
has a human side to him.
Okay, so do you agree that it
Yes, I do.
humanizes me? Okay,
I think it humanizes you beyond sports.
Well, maybe that was in there all along.
Yeah, but somebody had to bring it out.
I know, but people say, do you play a character on TV?
No,
I
not
don't.
a character.
No,
he's his own character. He's a character enough.
The guy you see on my podcast, the guy you saw for 20 years on TV, is extremely real. A lot realer than a lot of people I worked with.
Definitely.
Because they play characters. I just played me.
He's him.
I just have different sides to me.
That is true.
But I do have this side, a quote unquote softer
this side never came out before.
Okay.
In full bloom.
Okay, this is at Aaron Brooks 1048, who says, I'm 35 and White Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie as well.
Great.
It's hers.
Love it.
Love every single movie you listed, Ernestine. Get it together, Skip.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go, Aaron.
What?
Way to go.
There used to be a quarterback named Aaron Brooks who played for the Saints. He's pretty good, actually.
You told me that.
Yeah, but I don't think
you.
This is the same Aaron Brooks because I don't think he would have liked White Christmas.
I told him
Could be
that.
wrong.
White Christmas, best movie.
All right, but it was made in like 1929 or something.
No, it's not. It's like 1950 something. I don't remember.
So how could a 35-year-old Aaron Brooks even stumble upon White Christmas?
Because he has great taste.
Okay.
Because there is a life beyond 2024. That's the past, and you have to know the past to know where you are now. You know that the past is part of the present. So he's got great taste. It's okay. Great taste, and I think
she thanks you, Aaron.
I thank you.
I think you're out of your mind.
No, you're not.
That's okay. I think you're acting. Okay, this is at Neil99. This show is like Jerry Springer. Well,
I don't know. That's not really a compliment, but maybe it is. Yeah. I like Jerry Springer, so I'll take it for yes. Jerry Springer was very good.
We don't need any pregnancy tests.
No, we don't need to hit each other and knock each other down.
Like DNA tests or whatever. Is that what they do on Jerry
They did
Springer?
A lot, but he was the first of the real. He was more reality TV. Before the reality TV.
I did appreciate what he did. Sometimes they played to the crowd, but he broke through.
He
did. Know what? He was a trailblazer in his own right.
He was.
You can condemn it all you want.
Please.
He was lowest common denominator.
But he brought out the reality of people that people now watch reality shows.
He made it real.
Yeah.
He got, I know you can say some of these lives are not worth discussing, but no, they were.
Everybody's worth something, but the reality shows today are all scripted. That was not scripted.
It was not.
That was real.
That's very well said. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Ben in Med 00, who brings us to a conclusion today by saying, I need to find my Ernestine.
Thank you, Ben.
Wow.
That's very sweet.
Thank you, Ben, for that.
I appreciate that wholeheartedly.
Although
from my heart.
Must add, not sure I would wish her upon anybody because she is a handful.
Oh, please. Please.
Okay, and I do have flashbacks to my father.
Well, that's your father saying that about your mother.
They worked together at this little restaurant, hole-in-the-wall barbecue called the Hickory House.
Right.
My mother always, through lunch, ran the cash register while my father sort of it was cafeteria style. And men would always ogle my mother because she was very pretty. And kind of, she always says pretty is as pretty does. But it's kind of like sexy is as sexy does. And my mom could kind of act sexy. And so the men just, well, that's
why they went there for lunch. Yeah.
Okay. They, you call it oogled or ogled or whatever it
both.
is. Yeah, both. And my father would always jump in and say, you want her? You can have her because she's damned expensive.
That's a horrible thing to say.
I hated it.
It's a horrible thing to say.
It just crushed my soul every time that he said that, because in your case, you're not damned expensive. You're great with money. Okay, well, you're just not. But it just reduced my mother to dollar bills.
And it's terrible because your father was the wrong one. Your father was the problem, not your mother. But anyway, that takes away from what this wonderful person is saying.
But the truth is, I can't imagine finding anyone better than you.
Well, thank you.
I can't imagine my life without you.
Thank you.
I can't imagine anyone else putting up with all my quirks and foibles the way you do.
That is true.
I can't imagine anybody more loyal than you are to me, because you are fiercely loyal, even more loyal than Hazel is to me, although we're boring her on this podcast. But in the end, you changed everything about my existence on this planet.
That's
and
true.
We do fight. And I guess my other New Year's resolution is I wish we could stop fighting, but
but everybody
maybe
does.
It's healthy.
I think people that don't fight have something wrong with them.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Like their
when you
Stepford.
When you look at these couples, you think they're so perfect, especially celebrity couples that you see and you read Us and People, and then you find out 2 weeks later they're getting divorced. Nothing is what it seems to be.
Okay.
But at least we show a side of what we are in real life.
Yeah. But with you, I'm not exaggerating or kidding. You require a lot of work from me, and it's worth it. But I do have to focus.
Not high maintenance. I'm the lowest maintenance person.
I think you're high maintenance.
Oh, this is a whole nother.
But I do think you're the highest.
You have opened up another can
you're
of
a hypochondriac, and every other minute you're like, oh, I'm dying because I've got.
Who's the one that's going to 1,000,000 doctors? Him.
Okay.
Anyway, but this is another. Let's get back to Ben. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ben. I hope you find someone like me. There's only one of me, though, but thank God, because I think they broke the mold. I got my own nuttiness.
One of one. That is it for this week's Skip versus Ernestine. We will see you next week and next year.
God bless.
If, in fact, we're still speaking.
Happy New Year. We wish you the best. Thank you.